Every morning you wake up, you're making a massive assumption. You assume the sun will rise, you assume gravity will pull you down, and you assume your phone will turn on. Your house will stay standing, and the world will behave like it always has. But what if I told you none of this belief is logically justified? Not even a little. Welcome to one of the oldest and most unsettling problems in philosophy, the problem of induction. We rely on patterns. If your car starts every morning, you expect it to start tomorrow. If fire burns today, it will burn tomorrow. This is induction, using past observations to predict future events. Science uses it, economics uses it, medicine, weather, everything. But in the 1700s, David Hume asked a question that made the entire intellectual world stop in its tracks. Why do you think the future will resemble the past? David Hume wasn't trying to destroy science. He was trying to understand why we believe what we believe. He noticed something strange. We think the sun will rise because it always has. We think bread will nourish us because it always has. We think similar causes lead to similar effects because, well, that's what we've seen. But Hume said, no amount of past experience can logically guarantee a future outcome. Just because you've seen 10,000 sunrises does not prove the 10,001st sunrise will happen. That's not reasoning, that's habit. And suddenly the floor beneath everything we know begins to crack. For centuries in Europe, every swan anyone had ever seen was white. Naturalists, poets, scholars, all certain, all swans are white. Then explorers landed in Australia and saw a black swan. One bird collapsed an entire worldview. This is Hume's point. A million confirming observations can be destroyed by one counterexample. And yet, we build science, probability, and everyday expectations on exactly these repeating patterns. When we say nature is uniform, we're saying the future will resemble the past. But how do we know that? We look at the past to justify the future, and use that to justify the past. Hume calls this a circular argument. Induction cannot justify induction. This means you cannot rationally prove that gravity will act the same tomorrow, or that atoms will behave as they did yesterday, or that science will continue working the way it has. We assume consistency because we need to, but we cannot prove it. And modern science made the problem worse. Chaos theory and nonlinear dynamics show that small changes in initial conditions can lead to wildly different outcomes. Tiny shifts in a system today can produce massive changes tomorrow. Reality might be stable, or it might be balancing on the edge of unpredictability. We don't actually know, we can only guess. But Hume wasn't a nihilist. His conclusion is surprisingly human. Yes, induction isn't rationally justified, but we can't live without it. We are creatures of habit. We survive by expecting patterns to continue. Our brains evolved to trust the sunrise, the seasons, and the laws of physics. Not because we prove them, but because trusting them keeps us alive. So next time you wake up and assume the world will behave just like it did yesterday, just remember, that belief isn't logic. It's faith. Faith is the stability of reality, and Hume's challenge still stands. What do you actually know about tomorrow besides the fact that you can expect it?